everybody. Surprise, surprise. Looks like we're going to go live today. This is Mary Beckman from Metaphysical Meltdown with my friend Lola Singer here today. We are so happy to see you because, as you know, it doesn't always happen that we're able to take questions for these podcasts. And so if you have a question of Lola or of me, you can go ahead and type it in because I will be watching. It's such a beautiful day here. I can't even believe it. And after we're all done with this, I'm just going to go outside. I'm so excited. It's so beautiful out there. So welcome, Lola. Here she is. I'm so happy to see you.
And I'm always happy to see you, Mary. We're buds going back a while.
My gosh, yes. I remember we met at Grace
Spirit Fair.
I thought so. Yeah, I do remember. Lola gets around at a few of these fairs, so she's going to tell us at the end where you can connect up with her. But there's so many interesting things about Lola. She does so many things. And so I just want her to explain. So Lola, how did you start though? You were doing something else also when I met you first.
Yes. I have an intuitive gift that some people are familiar with, but I find most people are not.
Mm.
And it's called light language. And light language is the ability to take frequencies from high level dimensions, I mean really high, and bring them down to earth, channel them through the body through a variety of different ways. For me, the most natural way was singing. So when a person is singing light language, they're bringing in frequencies and sounds and cadences and rhythms that affect the energy around them. So think of your aura, like your emotional area, your mental area, and how that affects your body. So the frequencies are affecting the aura in a good way because they're high frequencies, right? And then it helps the body to relax. And when the body's relaxed, what does it do? It heals itself, right?
Awesome.
So when I was speaking light language, it started when I was meditating. I didn't know anything about it. I never heard the term or anything. And one day I decided, I'm going to commit myself to meditating. And I set a goal, which I don't recommend other people set this goal. I asked for a spiritual breakthrough. I caution you not to do that one because you never know what you'll get.
Oh my goodness.
It could be something really big downloaded. Okay. For me, it was light language came through.
Yeah, well, you don't start little. So
no, that's why I caution people, pick something that helps you kind of step by step. So one day I was meditating and it started, light language also includes movements. There's things called mudras that like this, hand movements. And then if you've seen somebody do ecstatic dance, that's kind of like light language because some people, they bring that channel, that high energy through and they do movements, but it's a little different from ecstatic dance because it's usually a little bit more controlled looking. You know what I mean? You can also express light language through writing and drawing symbols and also through speech. So for me, how it started was I was meditating. And one day my hands started making those beautiful movements, like a hand dance, right? And I was watching it and go, how did I do that? And then I would end and the left side mimicked the same exact movements. And I go, I could never consciously do that. Make it look exactly like a mirror of what this hand just did. Wow, this is pretty cool. I think I am getting a breakthrough while meditating. So I let that happen. Now, when you're doing that, I was shifting energy in my body and I could feel it. So I knew it was doing some kind of healing for me. And then I realized, wow, you can kind of focus that energy to certain areas too. So, like if your knee is hurting, you can set the intention for the movement and the energy to go into the knee. So I was really starting, I didn't know what it was, but I was starting to realize this is a tool. It's a healing tool. And then eventually, while I was doing that, I started making sounds and they started out as humming. I'm doing the hand movements and the humming. And the humming was raising my vibration. It felt really good too. And then I realized, okay, I can direct the sound to different areas of my body. And then eventually it became consonants and noise. And then it became the light language, which sounds like you're speaking in a whole different language, but it's not identifiable on Earth. And the thing I would say is that I know a lot of people are waking up to light language and they're wondering what it is. And as long as it feels good and you're in your body, that's light language. Okay. If it doesn't feel good, that's something else. So you tell that to go goodbye. Okay.
That's a perfect way to describe it, because what was it, 2 years ago when we had our thing in Tacoma where you sang and Jeffrey played, remember?
Oh, yes.
And so many other awesome people came, and my husband and I put that sort of like a little festival on. It was a one night thing. I forgot to tell people what light language was before all of you started doing that, because it's so normal for me to hear that from you and other people that I know that do it. I sort of forgot there might be a person or two in the audience that didn't know. So I talked to my friend a couple days later and she said, "What in the world was that?" She couldn't get it. And then when I explained, she could. I said, "You just kind of have to sit back and feel." Because everybody's light language is sort of different, isn't it?
Yeah, because when you think about it, everybody resonates at a different frequency. And when you're going to your highest self, that's your soul, right? And your soul through you has a certain frequency that's going to be slightly different than even another member of your own soul group.
Right.
So it's all unique. And you might, and one thing I have noticed, speaking of soul group, is like when people write in the symbols, sometimes you'll see people write some symbol that you've written yourself and you go, "Oh, that's interesting. I've drawn that symbol myself." But then I got to thinking, well, that must mean I'm in the same soul family. It doesn't mean I'm at the same frequency and can read everything else that person writes. It's just like, I know that symbol, so that must be a soul brother.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't
I
it?
should ask you if you could read that one that you gave me a long, long time ago, because I had another intuitive friend look at that and she said that I would eventually know what that means, that it was so far in the future what you were giving me in
Oh,
that message.
yeah.
My light language is hanging out in front of me when I heal people, because there's nobody here on earth that wants to hear me sing. They do not.
Well, and I found the easiest way to describe light language for me is to demonstrate it. So I'm more than happy to sing right now if you
I
want me to.
would love you to. I would love people hear you. Please do.
Okay.
Anything you want actually today. It's all up to you.
I would like, and now light language is more effective if you set a focus and an intention so that the energy isn't just scattering, so it has a place to go.
Okay.
And what's been coming up for me lately are, because it's the full moon, issues of self-love. And I thought, well, how can I turn that around to something I'm releasing because it's full moon? So we're going to release feelings of unworthiness.
Oh, that's great.
You like that? So
Love
that's my intention. And I'll just go and see how it comes out. And I never know how it'll sound. I never know. Amasalana saleono maya. Hamala masalaneo. Amalana saleo. Aseaneana Amalaya Amalea Neanomayo Amasalea Amalaya Amaleo Amasalaneano Anasalaru Amasalea Amaleo Amalaru Amasamaru Amara Amalaya Amaleo Amalana Sameu.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Diane says that too. Lots of people on.
Diane.
Carolyn, Debbie, Jamie, some of my sisters, Susie and Kelly. Tom Beckman is watching. I wonder if Tom Beckman's really watching. He likes hearing you, though. He's a musician. Lynn and Trudy, Shirley and Laura and Kathleen, Sonia. So lots of people that we both know are on, and people we don't know, I'm sure, are going to be watching you, because this will be turned into a YouTube later. And that's what I'm loving about these days, is that people are spreading far and wide and coming to support others. So thank you so much for what you just did, because gosh, that Scorpio moon was about to kick everybody's butt. I'm hoping today seems a little smoother, but the last couple days, oh.
And the build up to it was hard too.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah, so that's an example of singing in light language. You can speak in light language as well. Like we could, I could set another intention and just do a quick a speech if you like.
Yes, please.
Let's bring in the self. Let's bring in the self-love.
Okay.
Ante quiero mala, este caronio mala teosapas, este quiero mala teosonamas sera, ashla, 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 ala quiero mala teosonamas, este cara. Ala teosapas sera mala teosonamas sera, ala quiero mala teosapas, pas, 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 anateo, alateo, alateo, Christos ashla quiero mala teosapas.
Can I ask you a question I've never asked you before? How does it feel when it's coming through you?
Oh, it feels great. It's like, you know, when people do Reiki energy healing, they get the benefit themselves.
Yes.
That kind of feel. Yeah. Oh, no, it's wonderful. Good vibe.
So after you and Jeffrey do like a session, you probably just feel great.
Yeah, we do.
Are you planning on doing some of those things in the future?
Maybe when this current situation's over. He invited me this weekend to go up, but I didn't get a chance to accept. So, and then I got booked for some readings. So we haven't been really connecting, but we want to, definitely, because we make a good team.
Oh, you guys do. He is a busy guy.
They probably don't know what we're talking about, but we have a mutual friend, Wizard Ozanon, aka Jeffrey, who plays an instrument called a handpan, and it's a metal drum that just sounds like magic. And he starts drumming. He's written songs, and I just extemporaneously join it with light language, and it works perfectly. And you know what the most interesting thing is, Mary? Those tongue drums come in different keys. He special ordered a drum without knowing, because this was his baby, until I started singing with him, that I sing in that key.
Oh my gosh.
So we were meant to do this, weren't we?
Oh, of course you were. Some of us are lucky enough to have heard them together, and it's otherworldly. It really is. It is. And then the thing is you don't just sing it or speak it. What else do you do with that light language?
Well, we talked about light language is expression of this high energy coming through. And everybody's got a tool in their tool belt that is best for them to reach for. It's natural, right? For me, it's singing. For other people, it's writing or drawing. And I didn't believe I could write or draw in light language. It took me a couple years, because I could see other people, what they do. But really, they're bringing just symbols of their souls down on paper. And this is an example of a notebook. I don't know, can you see the details? Yeah. It's pretty fine pen there.
Yes.
Of what my light language often looks like.
Okay.
But everybody does it differently. Some people are very architectural. They get a compass out and lines, and they draw stargates and things like that. That's not the tool that comes most easily for me. For me, when it's writing, it's more like a journaling style. Okay. However, now this is interesting, because before we started, I wrote in light language to get ready. And in this one, can you see that right after the big loop that I changed my style?
Yes.
So whatever energy came through, it shifted. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe preparing you to go higher, or do you think it's somebody else?
Whatever aspect of my soul's coming through, whatever. It was like obviously big shift, and then it's just started changing. Yeah. Now also, people do amazing, they'll combine there are light language codes like you just saw with artwork, and I do that too. So you haven't seen these yet, but I do animal totems, animal spirit guides, as Mary knows. I just started putting them in canvas wraps.
Oh my gosh, isn't that cool?
There's a goat, a
I love
Capricorn
him.
goat. You can see all kinds of light codes around them.
Sure.
And the codes are always different, coming into the energy of the animal. Like very different from the deer. See, the codes are very different depending on what I'm tuning into. So I would like to, get these out and available for people. See, I haven't even gotten some of these out of the plastic wrap yet. There's my lion. A lot of people like the lion with the codes. I plan to hand sign them with Shungite ink.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I even have a giraffe. Look at the codes on the giraffe. It's all because the giraffe's very gentle. See how that's a lot of feminine looking circular lines?
Yes.
Whereas with another animal, like the lion, you got more of it's circular and linear. See? So it's just what comes out naturally. This little cute bird, there's a lot of circular there, right?
Yeah, I love that bird.
Yeah. Oh, no, you like this guy too, right? The bear.
Yeah, I bought that for Joanne. I love that. I love.
So now I'm going to have these cute little canvas wraps available.
It just looks like he's saying, you go.
Yeah, and then this is the one that started it all. One day, I was drinking coffee in the morning, and I heard "draw a wolf" in my head, and I went, I don't know how to draw. But I decided, well, give it a try. And this is the wolf that showed up.
Oh, there he is.
Tons of codes on it. Yeah. So from there on, I decided, well, this is kind of fun. I'm going to keep going with these spirit animals.
Sure. I remember you channeling one day. I can't remember how it all went. I had a new guide come in. Do you remember that? I
do, because I don't think you thought you could channel yourself at that point.
This was a really long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and you came up to me. You walked up and you said, "Oh, this was at one of the Blue Moon fairs," and Mary walked up to me and said, "I'm being told you channel." I go, "Well, kind of. I do light language," and then you asked me to channel, and your Syrian guides came through.
Yes.
English and light language both, didn't they?
Absolutely.
So you got introduced to the Syrian aspect of your soul.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was fascinating because you came from your place over to my place, and then I believe even Alana might have heard you do it.
Yeah.
It just came out of you. And we just don't know what we have in us as such multidimensional beings. We have no idea.
Yeah, especially because we don't try. And that was the thing with me with the writing light language. I saw so many other people doing it, and I really thought I had a mental block about it. It's like, that's what other people do, not me. And then one day I said, what if I try? And when I tried for months and months and months, it was nothing but spirals. They felt good to write, but it wasn't that interesting to look at. So, you kind of adjust into these frequencies, and eventually it became, writing more like that.
Right. Well, and then also I think it's healing you as it's coming out of you too, right?
Yeah. So even when you're writing the codes, it gives you that good feeling.
So probably as you were doing the spiral thing, it was healing you and bringing you up to the next level to do the rest.
I think you're spot on about that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, because I've heard lots of people, and I even think about it nowadays, more to just really feeling more artistic. And I've drawn a little bit. I used to draw and paint. And I think a lot of people are Spirit doesn't care if you paint a rock, for goodness sakes. It's just awesome to get us out of the brain a little bit.
Well,
so more
it's true, because how much do we love, like, when a kid does a drawing and hands it to you and says, I want you to have this.
Yes.
And it's not Rembrandt quality, it's full of love.
Exactly.
So I guess what I'm saying to people is, don't worry don't try to compare your style of light language. If you do discover that this is something coming through to you, try not to compare it to other people, because like I said, it's your own personal frequency coming through. It's an expression of your soul. So it's beautiful no matter what. Yeah. You can work on developing artistic technique to go with it, like I did with the animals.
Mm-hmm.
But the animal itself is not the light language. It's the codes around the animal. So yes, it's a fun looking deer. I like the deer. That you can get technical with, but with the codes, just let them flow.
So if somebody wanted, say somebody on the other side of the country wanted to get something like that from you, you could just tune into them and it would just come right out, wouldn't it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's what I've been doing. Oh, shoot. Where is the notebook I wanted to show you? I have been doing sessions. Oh, I saw it before we started and I must have moved it. I've been doing sessions where with every session, we do an intuitive session for half hour, an hour. Everybody gets a drawing of a spirit guide.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so these are Zoom sessions with many people?
I just kind of started. It started about a month ago, and yeah, I've had people. I'm building, but I've had people in the UK and Australia as well as the United States. So yeah.
Tell people about the light language group that you're on at Facebook that you are a moderator in. I forget, that just went right out of my head.
It's called Keepers of the Codes.
That's it.
And it is for light language, so people can express their style, and that's where you're going to see people dancing, moving, singing their codes and drawings. I recommend, if people are curious about it, take a look to see if you resonate with anything there. If you're interested in joining, you just have to answer 3 questions. If you answer 2 out of 3 questions, we can't approve you. You have to answer all 3. But I think it's a really good place if people are curious, or if they is what I've been doing possibly like language, to kind of look at what other people are putting out there and say, oh yeah, that is kind of like mine.
And it's so diverse. It's so beautiful. I love when stuff comes up from that page, because some of the stuff people, and I love to watch, is her name Suzanne, the one that sometimes does lives on there?
Yes.
I love to watch her. She is so creative. So we have some questions. I don't want to get too much past this. Oh, here we go. Okay. What message is in the code? So I think they're talking about some of the ones you were just showing. What message is in each code? Or
okay, this is the natural tendency when viewing light language, is for our brain to try to get involved and say, what does that particular symbol mean? But I'm going to encourage people to remember, this is not a linear function. This is coming through the right side of my brain, which is the part that doesn't think in words. So it's pure symbol, meaning there is no direct translation other than how it makes one feel. So it's not like a script, right? If it was a script, that would be a code that has an actual meaning, right? Like a cryptographer would work with that kind of thing. This is right brain, feeling, creativity, art, no math, no linear, none of that stuff coming in. Okay, it's just pure flow. So because it's pure flow, I encourage people, try not to use your mind to analyze it, use your heart to feel it.
Exactly, because you were set up across from me at one show. I couldn't get over that bear. I had to come by the bear. The bear was talking to me. It was making me feel something, and I knew somebody that I loved would love the bear. And I don't even know what my light codes mean. I just know when they come out of me and go into somebody, it feels good. So we don't have to worry too much about exactly what it is. We just let them out.
Yeah, and once again, I'm going to use the analogy of the kid's drawing. You know, the kid makes this with love, and they hand you something and you can't tell if it's a house or if it's an elephant. But you just go, great, thank you. It was made with love. I can feel it. You know, I don't need to know exactly what she was trying to draw there. All I know, she's excited about it. It came through her total creative side, and I accept it gladly, you know?
Yes, it's awesome. So the person who asked that question earlier, Janet, says, are the codes for the individual? So what Lola was saying earlier, she does write codes for each individual, but sometimes she has a beautiful amount for people to take a look at and see what
It could go both ways. Remember before I said that intention is very important. So when I do a reading for somebody, let's say you pay for an hour reading for me, I actually start an hour earlier or a half hour reading. I start an hour earlier. I tune into the person. I ask their guides and my guides to get together
Mhm.
and bring forth the guide that will be most helpful for them at the moment. And then I sit with that for a while and I start drawing. So even before I start a session where we talk with people, or I do tarot readings with
Mhm.
them, or we do
Mhm.
sing light language, whatever comes up, I have set that intention and worked with that person beforehand. So does that answer your question?
I think it does. I think she came on later. I
Oh,
don't think she remembered, or I don't think she heard what you said in the beginning. So
oh,
some
okay.
stuff
No, I
is,
remember the question now. So
yeah.
that would be focused on one person.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can also send it out to everybody to accept too. And just it'd be a different picture, of course,
So Carrie is saying it's such a great way to describe it. She does some of this stuff too. You would really like
Yeah.
it. So I just want to welcome Angela and Carrie, and there's so many awesome people, and we just love you. And please hang in there with us. There's Marty. She's coming on later on her own page talking about her stuff today. So I'm looking forward to that, having my vacation as I am having. And I also saw, scrolling back here, I also saw Rhea. So hi to Rhea Sunshine. We just want to say hi to her. We love her. So Lola, you also are an accomplished tarot reader too, or tarot reader. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yes, I've been reading with the Thoth Tarot deck exclusively
Mhm.
for almost more. Wow, since 2012. I guess that's a long time now, and I love the Thoth deck because it goes really deep.
Mhm.
So if somebody's been doing their spiritual homework, they're working on their emotions, their mental state, their spirituality. I can see that in the cards usually with these ones,
Mhm.
because this particular deck does show a lot of the alchemical process of turning our bodies into gold, right?
Yes.
So I've been doing readings at fairs. That's how I met you. And let's see, my first fair was 2013. So I've been doing that pretty steadily.
Mhm.
And I can do readings online as well. And I just started an online tarot class. That's the first for me. We just had our first meeting about 2 weeks ago, and we'll have another one tomorrow.
That is great. And so you do a Zoom and people pop in and you do the class right like that?
Yes, we do. We actually got 2 more students this week. So I've got 5 students in the class, which I think is pretty much the maximum.
Mhm.
But I'd be open if anybody's interested in starting maybe another beginning class too. So if that's something maybe your viewers want to know about, they can reach me. I'm on Facebook, because we're going through Messenger, at Lola Singer, or you can go to my business page, which is Light Language Arts with an S at the end, Light Language Arts, and contact me. And if that's something that interests you, it doesn't matter where you live. We just
Right.
need to coordinate a time when we can all get together. That's it, just that easy. So, if you're in North Dakota or you're in Scotland, we can still make it work.
No,
you
I've
know?
never until just the last couple months have ever said the words, I love this technology stuff, but I have to have Tom to love it at the same time. But I really do, because you could talk to people and everybody's in the same space. And I know what you mean. When you have more than 5 or 6 brains to watch at the same time, it's a little hard. But could you, I wasn't even going to do this, but it's too exciting to ask. Could you lay out a spread regarding what is actually coming? And I'll tell you why. And you don't even do this if you don't want to. Maybe you have a better way. Okay. I'm asking this because I went to observation today, and everybody who knows me knows I always have awesome stuff happen at acupuncture. So there I was laying in acupuncture, standing on the ship, looking down at Earth, and everywhere is mint green light. I wasn't thinking of the mint green light, wasn't even thinking about anything. There it was. Now I know mint green light means we're getting closer to maybe a flash, a light flash. And many of us have had flashes prior, but it might be a bigger one. Do you get anything about that? That's my
But
question.
here's my first, being someone who's worked with tarot for a while,
Mhm.
you ask a general question, you get a general answer.
Okay.
So what's going on, like a question like that isn't very helpful. It's not probably worth shuffling the cards for.
Okay. Light
Okay.
flash.
However, asking about the mint or something like that would.
Yeah. Just ask the mint and the light flash. Did you get anything
Okay.
about it?
Now this is a message. Now with tarot, once again, I'm going to go back to the soul, like with light language.
Right.
Tarot is a message to you from your higher self.
Mm-hmm. You know
It's
what it's
just
going
the
to say.
dialogue between them. I'm the reader. I just read the message. So this is going to be a message for you, but I'm just going to ask, it is applicable for others. I just checked intuitively.
Okay, because you know what I thought you were going to say is it's going to come up and it's going to say, Mary, quit worrying about the dang light flash.
Right.
I had mine, but I want to know if there's going to be a big one.
Okay, so what does Mary need? What would be helpful for Mary to know about the mint color and the flash?
Thank you, friend.
Let's see what we get here.
Kelly is watching, and Tracy, my cousin. Tracy's going to be a grandma. Everybody applaud for Tracy. I thought they were having a new husky, but it turns out it's a kid. All right, and then Lloyd. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Because I never have.
No. In other lifetimes we might have, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
So folks,
long shuffling. I just trust my intuition. When it tells me to stop, I stop. Okay. Some people shuffle a certain set number of times. And so one thing I can let people know if they haven't had tarot readings is just honor the way the tarot reader's been taught, because some of them don't let you touch their cards. I let people touch my cards, but you just have to keep in mind that everybody's been taught slightly differently.
Yes.
And respect what they would like. Okay, so the first card is defining you is the Fool. And
all right.
Total trust in spirit, letting go, let it happen, stop get the monkey brain out of the mind. Yep. And just go, okay, I'm ready. And you kind of told me about that before we even started the session.
Absolutely. Today. I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to lay the cards out first, because with a tarot reading, you want to look at the combination of cards and the position they're in the tarot spread. So it really is about looking at the patterns. So this is a great reading, Mary. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this card we talked about is defining you. The Fool begin in the tarot. This is the very first card on a journey. It's number 0. It's not even a 1. It's just starting out on the journey, setting your foot, moving that foot so you start on the path. So you're starting on a whole new cycle, and you're trusting that cycle. However, you're being a little bit stubborn. Okay. Because this is sideways across your card, which is not quite working. The Chariot is when everything's full speed ahead. Let's go fast. Your soul's completely behind you when you've got the Chariot card, but it's very fast moving energy. So you're kind of not going with the tempo that your soul would like, so just, it's really pedal to the metal for you here is what your soul would like.
The rest days, they told me 3 days of rest. That's probably why, 3 or 4 days of rest.
Okay, so when that's over, I think you're going to be going full speed.
Woo! Okay, cool.
Okay, your soul, there you go, wants you to take care of your health. That's the Prince of Discs. He's all about health and physicality. This is up in your soul level, so your rest is probably important. Now, it's also Taurus energy, which moves slowly and steadily when they're plowing, right? So even when you're resting, I think you're still making that progress. But it's a very physical card. They want you to be aware of your physicality. Okay. Because guess what's happening on Earth? You are just full of fire. That's spirit energy. Okay. That's the Ace of Wands. Wands are about fire and spirit, and it's a 1. There are some cards in the tarot deck that go 1 to 10. This is one of those. Okay. So you're just full of spirit energy. You just don't know where to focus it yet.
Oh my God, they just said that. They told me since nobody knows this because I haven't really told anybody, but I had something really humongous happen. They told me, be careful for the next 3 or 4 days. You're like a hose that has a kink in it. And
Yes.
with all the water forcing through, you could go. So it's basically don't. It's
That's,
basically they said don't sign any contracts for 3 days.
you're talking about Kundalini. Kundalini works that way.
Yeah.
So yes, okay. Yeah. In your recent past, they're giving you credit that yes, you have slowly but surely been working on your craft. You're
Mhm.
paying attention to details. Like that's what a craftsman does, right? So you've got the foundation behind you. You've honed your craft.
Awesome.
Now we got more fire again. So here's
Uh-oh.
more spirit. It's a spiritual victory in the future, which means you've had a struggle, right? And that's the way the spiritual path works. If there's only one thing I could say and broadcast to the public is it's never done,
Oh,
because we're always expanding, right? So
absolutely.
we have a spiritual, we've struggled, we recognized something about ourselves, we had an aha moment, whatever it was, we shifted, we had a victory, great, there'll be more. There'll be more struggle and victory as we grow. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, down in your house and home, well, I hope Mr. Thomas Beckman is listening to this. Your house and home's full of love.
It sure is. Absolutely. That's lovely.
Yes, and this is love of brotherhood as well as physical love of a partner. So you love humanity
I
too.
sure do. Except yesterday.
Well, we're looking at today's reading, right?
Just kidding. Everybody had a problem yesterday. Today's all good. Feels good today. Energy feels
Okay.
good.
Well, then this is a great card. This is in your hopes and fears, and I think you probably would not hope for it. Mental futility. Mental futility is when we keep doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't work.
Okay.
Which actually with your Fool card makes perfect sense. Remember, you're starting a new cycle, you're trusting. Mental futility doesn't fit into that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Good.
Okay. So unexpected aid or hindrance is the next card. And so you don't expect that it's a period of adjustment, but you kind of do from what you told me, but maybe it's going to be a longer adjustment than you think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I can tell this is a future card.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you've been doing your spiritual homework, Mary, because this is a card called the Art card. And this is the art of balancing. So here's the adjustment where you're trying to balance.
Okay.
This is the accomplishment. And this
Ah,
is balancing opposites. This is light and dark. These are all those polarities,
okay.
male, female, good, bad, whatever you want to call them, coming together. So people do not get the art card until they've done their spiritual homework and their shadow work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So remember I told you I can tell how far people have been working on themselves by these, with this deck, it's amazing. So this is the next step. Your guides are letting you know about the Kundalini. It needs to flow.
Mm-hmm.
And because when we shift spiritually, mentally, emotionally, that's immediate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies don't shift that fast.
Well, yeah.
This is your body catching up to that. So of course you need your rest.
Ah, that's so great. Well, I
So
rest every day, but they're talking about a real, honest to God, not one thing for like 4 days. That's what they're saying.
yes, but remember we asked this question, does it apply to other people?
Does.
Yes, it does. So a lot of people don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a big spiritual shift, huge. And then your body says, I don't know how to deal with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've shifted the energy here so much so that it's at a point I don't even recognize.
Right.
And the body kind of goes into panic modes. That's why they have those ascension symptoms, headaches.
Yes.
The Kundalini, a lot of people twitch because they've got so much energy in them, or it could be, aches and pains, whatever it is. I would like the people in the audience to know it's normal, but it's not fun, because once again, we're on the 3D level. Our mental, emotional shifts are done at a different dimension, a different dimensional level. It has to filter down to the poor body that's going, oh, what do I do with this? And oftentimes the body just kind of goes into a mode where it's like protecting itself. And so whatever it is, twitching, whatever, it's all part of the growth. So I hope that's helpful for you as well as others.
This is wonderful. And had I thought about this earlier, I would have asked the last 2 readers, to do this very thing, because I'm an open book. I'll tell anybody anything. I don't mind if anybody reads me. So I think it's so instructive because you just showed people what you can do. And I think it was great. I thank you so very much. So you guys got to see what Lola can do, and you can tell that not only is she an accomplished card reader, she's also been a student of this for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why she can say, this is what it all means, and this is probably what you've been doing. She hit it right on the nose. I've been working really hard on myself over the past few months, actually for the past 17, 18 years, trying to adjust a few things. And it's kind of come to the point right here. And then when that happens and I adjust, it all happens again, because we never stop. People ask me all the time, when is this going to be over? It isn't. We're seekers. We're always going to be learning.
Yeah, we're always curious.
We are.
What's over that mountain? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I just realized I do have some of the spirit guides I can show you, show the people when I do a reading. So I always like to start with this guy because he's my favorite. That was one of the guides that came through. Can you?
Yeah, perfect, right there, perfect. Oh my goodness, I love him.
And see the codes. Everybody's codes are going to be different, but they're going to be tying into the presence of the guide. There's another one that's got a little more of the thunder type energy.
Yeah, look at that.
And then this guy looks really young and simple, but what I love is, can you see, he's in his turban, but he's got this candle of wisdom that showed up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Within the codes. People like this one, the Hathor that came through. Hathor or person. Yeah. And okay, here's a lady. Turns out I didn't know. When I had the session, turns out she drums.
Oh, she does. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know the person you were reading drums? Oh, listen to that.
These are the guides that are most important to come through at the moment. This is one came through for a writer. Mm-hmm. It's a Greek muse. You know, the muses are the goddesses who whisper ideas in people's ears. Yes. Like artists and writers.
Yep.
And, oh, well, this one, you're going to like this one, Mary. I'm going to show you too. This was someone's future self.
Wow, look at that.
The codes on that just come. I've never drawn them like that, where they come in like that on a diagonal.
Wow, galactic as heck.
Oh, wait till you see this one. This is the one you're going to like. This is a series.
Yeah.
And so she told me I had to put the blue color in because I heard her say, I do not want to be mistaken for a Palladian.
Okay, say who she is again. I interrupted. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's a Syrian.
Yes, she is a Syrian. Okay.
But she did want to make sure she wasn't confused with a Palladian, so she made me put the Syrian blue in there.
When you're first seeing those folks, you have to ask.
So
how are you? Exactly.
That's what I do. I need at least a half hour before a session to draw these. Mm-hmm. So people don't realize you're getting even more of my time than I charge people for. But I think this is I'm enjoying this because I'm finding as we start talking to people after I do these drawings, it's like, oh, now I know why she came through for you.
Sure.
That makes sense.
So Lola's telling everybody that we don't question the info we get. She doesn't know what that means, and she's drawing it anyway. That's great trust. And so how long I have to ask you this, how long did it take, though, for you to recognize that was a guide that needs to come through? That's a really big deal right there.
This is new for me.
It is. Okay.
This thing. I've only been doing this for maybe a couple months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was doing the animal spirit guides for people. But the hard thing for me is it's not as much flow because I have to look at the animal and draw the animal, which is not the same process as me doing light language. Okay. Because I have to see what an animal looks like. You have to capture their eyes properly or it won't look right. So I actually am more of an artist when I'm drawing the animal and then more of an intuitive when I add the codes. With this, you know, the faces are, I start out with pretty much the same face, so there's no thought about it. It's mostly the accoutrement,
right?
Hair and the you know, the details in the clothing that define the guide. So this is all pure flow. This is, whereas the animals, yes, there is flow because I hear what animal I'm supposed to draw, but it takes effort for me to draw the animal. This takes no effort for me, just time.
Well, yeah, but a lot of focus too. That's a ton of focus to be able to get that detail in.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, because just as a matter of fact, when some of us who see, or I'm a seer, when some of us see a guide come in, we have to describe who that guide is. Who are you? Can you demonstrate what you know, who you are exactly, and what do you look like? And then we have to say what we're seeing. So that's a ton of focus. Now, somebody has a question.
Oh, good.
But Carrie, I don't know what that word is. This is a new word for me. So it's either a typo or it actually means something, and I just don't know. And of course, everybody's got to give me a break because my brain is in 8 places at once today. Carrie says, those are incredible. I've always been super drawn in by unilomes. What's a unilome?
Yes.
It is a thing. See, I told you, you guys spoke the same language. I don't know what that is.
This is kind of like a unilome down here. Well, no, that one isn't. A unilome looks like, you know, a cursive letter L that goes down for a couple times, and it ends with a spiral.
Okay.
It's a Buddhist symbol that shows us the path that we take in life and the journeys we take in life. It's a very powerful symbol. And yes, I spontaneously started drawing unilomes. I didn't know what they were. They are part of my light language. I've seen other people's light language. I didn't know until I was on Keepers of the Codes, and somebody wrote, oh, that's an unilome. And I went, what is that? And I Googled it, and I went, that is what I'm drawing. So yes, if she's drawing that, she's tapped and she's doing it spontaneously. That's light language.
Her art is really beautiful. I haven't seen that much of it, but you guys, hopefully you guys can connect up. That's why I love these little podcasts, as people connect up afterwards, and I feel as though my job is done. So what are your plans when things change up again? Because we know this is always a flow, right?
Right now, I do have online sessions available, which I'll probably continue to do, so I can reach more people. However, I'm up in Mount Vernon. So you had Derek on this week, who from Mystical Wares.
Yeah.
I'm a reader there on Fridays. So once this reopens again, I'll be back to being a tarot reader there. And I did open an office in Burlington, which, if you're going north on the freeway, it's just a couple more exits, like maybe 2 exits up from Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in an apothecary wellness spa, so that'll be below, and then I'm up above that, and I have a massage table there. So I also do vibrational sound therapy, which is when you take the Tibetan singing bowls, put them on people's bodies, and strike it.
Oh,
so
my Lord.
I've never had an office. This will be my first chance once this is all over to offer this service. And what I love about it is you don't have, for the people who are not open to this intuitive stuff, it's very understandable to them because they just feel the vibration, and most people fall asleep on the table because they're so relaxed. But once again, when you're relaxed, you're allowing yourself to heal, right? So I'll have a massage table there. I'm able to do tarot readings there. I can do intuitive guidance there. I did become an ordained reverend, so I can talk about spiritual matters. I do energy healing. I'm also a Reiki master. So once this is over, I really want to use that office.
Yes, it's beautiful too, by the way. You've sent some pictures out on Facebook, and I am really happy to see that you're doing that, because the thing is about you is you have so many modalities to offer. Some people know you as just one thing or another, but you do a ton of different stuff. And that's why Zoom is so good, because you're.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I see we only have a few minutes left, and we promised people we could try to answer some intuitive questions. Does anybody have an intuitive question?
I betcha.
Because I want to offer that service too.
So what Lizzie says is she's getting used to all these feelings that she's having. This is kind of she's got some awesome skills, Lizzie does, and she says she's getting used to them. When I look at the art you've been sharing, feels like I'm spinning. What does that mean?
It just means you're reacting to the frequency, and I don't as long as you're comfortable, that's probably fine. But if it doesn't feel comfortable for you, light language should never ever feel like it's not, because it's high vibration. So my suspicion is it might be a little higher vibration than your body knows what to do with. So just maybe if you're reviewing this later, or or looking at somebody's light language later, maybe take it in small doses. But if ever you feel bad, light language should never make someone feel bad. So my feeling is, because I know if it's my light language, it is coming from a high source. So maybe it's just too much frequency right now.
The thing I'd add to that, Lizzie, too, because I know her really well, you're getting ready to go up there, my dear. You're getting ready to rise up. And so just for sure, absolutely don't tense against it. So when I feel that moving like this, and you felt that with me many, many times, you just want to kind of go with it and rise up, and you're going to open right up.
Okay, if it's spiral energy, remember that's that energy that never ends too. So that's in my drawings, that's in the unalomes, and our bodies will do that too.
So it could be, there's a couple ways we could go on this, is that it could mean that they tell me there's, everything we've said so far is valid. There's one more point to make. Last point is, make sure that a lot of times for folks right in this moment is we get on a loop and we don't leave the loop. It's also time to leave the loop too. For you, this is very valid. I went for a walk the other day with my friend, and I told the story earlier as we went around this big rock, and I went, oh, do we have to go back that way because our cars are over that way? She says, no, it's a loop. We can choose to get off. And I went, it's a loop. We can choose to get off. This is a very metaphysical person I was walking with, and we're like, so all of the things we both said are true for you. So hold on a minute, because, there's Michiko. We love Michiko because she has been focusing on healing the world for I don't know how many days on her Hado machine. So we love Michiko from the Peace Project. Everybody knows her all over the world. And let's just make sure there's Elise and Maria. Maria wants to know, is the dolphin her spirit animal, Maria?
Okay, here's where I'm going to defer to what I've learned about spirit animals since I started drawing them. My understanding is we have one spirit guide that's been with us all our life that is an animal. However, it is a personal journey to discover what animal that is. So if you're feeling dolphin, you're probably on the right track. However, I am not at liberty to tell you what your spirit animal is. I'm getting a big chill down my spine, which means your guides want you to hear this. What I do is I tap into a person's energy and offer them the one that's most helpful for them at the moment.
Oh, look at the bubble.
The guides shift in and out as we're changing to assist us with our energy. And so that's what I do. I feel like I'm free to do that for people. I do not feel I'm free to tell someone what their one spirit animal is, because it is part of your life discovery.
Very good. Very good. I need to wind back. Oh, we want to say hi to Bree. Dr. Bree is on. And Michiko says she has been healing the earth for 34 days. So if you guys don't know who she is, she has taken over for Dr. Emoto, who passed away. We all love him. He was the man that wrote the awesome book with the water crystals. And Michiko, I want you to know that on my cup, this is actually water. It says, water, I love you, gratitude, and happiness. So she'll love that. She's all about saving the water all over the world. You want to say that, hon?
Yes. Some people write light language codes on their glasses.
Yeah, maybe it's coming. Yeah. So yeah, she said she got chills. That's it. What you just said. So Maria said, guides tell her that is correct. Okay, so let's see what else we've got going on here. I don't want to miss any. I don't think anybody asked questions, but I have to tell you the questions do come through after this, so you might want to watch it. And so this will be, floating around on Facebook, and then later tonight, everybody, when the YouTube once my husband edits all of this and does whatever magic it is he does, it comes up as a YouTube. And I think we have like 27 or 28 of these, plus all the old radio shows that I used to do and all that kind of stuff. So if you're ever bored at night, I'll bore you some more. So just go on Metaphysical Meltdown. And please, for goodness sakes, if you guys wouldn't mind, oh, it's not following. What's the thing you do on the YouTube? You subscribe. If you wouldn't mind doing that, I want to get higher up than Metaphysical Milkshake. That's my goal. So Elizabeth wants to know, who should I work with? What do you mean by that, babe? Let's get Lola to say her final thought and I'll come back to it. What's your final thought, my dear?
About spirit guides, maybe?
She might be talking about spirit guides, I think. While she's thinking there, I want to say.
Well, because I'm getting a word, but it's a word that has connotations that are not always, I think they can be mixed, but I'm getting Leviathan, and that's a creature of the deep. So that makes me feel like maybe you're more associated with watery energy, like a lot of people from Sirius are. So, Leviathan, like they used to call whales Leviathans. Maybe it's the whale energy. Let me ask you. Yeah, they're saying yes, whale energy.
Yeah.
But they're calling them a Leviathan for a reason. So you might want to look into that.
Yeah, look that up, hon. There's Janice. So look that up, Lizzie. We've talked about that kind of stuff before. So I see whales come through for really earthy earth people, but I also see them come through a lot for galactics. So there you go. Oh my goodness. So Maria wants to know, does her guide have a message for her?
You know, let me ask your guide. Your guide is totally neutral right now, meaning I don't think your guide wants to give you a message over the public airwaves. So let me just, can you give me anything? I'm just getting you can try Mary, but I'm getting a nothing from the guides. I think whatever it is needs to be delivered privately to you.
Yeah, so you could maybe ask Lola or ask me later, but sometimes when they're quiet like that, and I have to tell you, they're a little quiet right now. I've heard that a bunch lately on people is, where are my guides? What are my guides doing right now? So, and that could be that
so they're probably strategizing with each other on how they can best help you.
They're having a summit meeting before that flash. But sometimes though, the thing is the reason why they're quiet is it's time for us to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
You guys remembered back in the winter, they did that. And I went, I went to lie down and have a rest, and I got up after like 5 minutes. There was nobody there to talk to. So understand that really sometimes they're making space for you, and you're such a mover and shaker and a thinker. So go in a little bit this weekend if you can. Okay, so another person, Godwin, wants to know, what does it mean when I see faces of animals and shapes in everything?
Well, then you have number one, a good imagination, and an imagination is the fuel we use to create. So I would say go with it. It doesn't sound like he's concerned about anything that is hinky feeling. I'm not getting that either for him.
Nope.
I think what might be interesting for you, since you're seeing so many, is to start looking up what that animal is. You just Google it, go to, let's say you saw a ram in the furniture. You go, well, what does a ram mean? Let me look up what the meanings are for ram and see which ones resonate for you. Because you're getting multiple messages about these animals, but remember, these animals represent an energy. They represent certain traits. It's right there available on the internet to look at. People have posted these things. So start looking at, well, I don't know why I'm seeing that. Well, let me see what that animal stands for, and you'll probably get a clue.
That's a good answer. Also, I want to say that if you look up on Gaia TV, and the name of the talk is called On Hologram, or The Hologram. And this is an awesome teacher that talks for about 40 minutes about the hologram. So what my friend Melanie does is she takes these amazing photos She runs them through a couple apps, and you can see faces everywhere. So if you're up of a high enough vibration like she is, she can take a picture of a tree and there are faces everywhere. A picture of a bush, a picture of your own eyeball. And so that is the higher vibrations speaking to us in a lower way so that we can see that everybody is everywhere. So this room right here, this 3D desk of mine, there are beings in this room like you would not believe. Galactic beings, angelic beings, elemental beings, they're everywhere. They're also in all of your houses too. They're in every bush, every tree, in the sky, everywhere. And that everybody is the hologram. So if you look that up, you can figure it out. So both those things are answers to that question. Well, Lola, we're getting up on an hour here, and I just want to tell you this has been great. And hello to Becca. Lots of people here today. You pulled in a lot of interesting people, and I want to thank you so much for coming to chat with everybody today.
Well, it's been fun. Actually, have me back, please.
Oh, I will. Absolutely. Lola's been on the radio with me, and I can't remember if you were on the podcast, but I remember you were on Eileen's show too at the same time. So yeah, so we've done this a few times, and you're such a diverse artist that I love to see what you've got going on. So blessings to everybody for the weekend, and next week I have a full week of interesting people. So please tune in and see. I did not prepare to tell you, but I will on Facebook say who all is coming. And then in June, there's more. I mean, I just have somebody try to have a person every day, but I am taking Monday for myself. So blessings to all of you. Thank you all so much and have a great weekend. Love you, Lola.
Thank you. Bye, guys.